Hi, today I want to talk to you about mental illness. Let's talk about what mental illness is and what mental health is. So, mental health is defined as a state of well being with the understanding of one's abilities, meaning that you know your limitations, and is able to cope with normal stressors of life. So, every day to day stressors that you run into, you're able to cope with those. Also, they're able to do all of this while still being productive and contributing to the community in which they reside. So there's multiple factors that determine mental health. Those are biological, which would be any health disparities, any health conditions that they may have, their age, social, if they have communication within their family, if they have family support or friends out in the community that they have that they can reach out to, and also psychological, where they're at as far as their stress um, and their ability to cope. So, mental health can affect our ability to thought process, interact with others appropriately, and find enjoyment out of life. So, let's talk about the different types of mental disorders. Actually, in the state of Tennessee, there are 19.24% of adults that were diagnosed with mental illness in 2020. Those illnesses included anxiety, depression, panic disorders, and other mental illnesses. With that being said, there was a little over 4% of these adults that had serious consideration for suicide as well in the year of 2020. So let's start with first depression. Depression for symptoms is usually when you have a very sad feeling that interferes with everyday functioning and lasts a lot longer period. Some other symptoms that they may feel is anxiousness that happens often, lack of interest in doing activities that they normally would want to do, becoming very irritable. They are easily frustrated and restless. They can't seem to really get good rest and be able to relax. And a lot of times you'll see them sleeping a lot or not sleeping enough. So for anxiety, some of these symptoms you'll also see with depression as well. For anxiety, you're going to see restlessness, just unable to be calm and relaxed. They become easily fatigued. They have trouble focusing or concentrating on communication when people are talking to them or on tasks that they're trying to complete. They can also have um, trouble controlling their feelings of worrying, as well as unbalanced sleep patterns. There's also panic disorder. So, panic disorder is a lot like anxiety. However, you'll see a lot more physical symptoms with panic disorder. Um, like they'll have palpitations, shortness of breath. Sometimes they can become diaphoretic, where they get really clammy, like a cold sweat. Um, Feeling of impending doom. They feel like they're going to die, as well as feeling out of control. So there are several ways to treat and prevent mental illness. There's medications, support groups, exercise, hotlines, getting enough sleep, and coping skills. Um, so there are several medications that your physician could prescribe you depending on what you're going through at that time. There's antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, There's also medications for other disorders that help reduce some of the symptoms that they also go through. Um, Another great way is to identify triggers that you recognize and remove or try to avoid these triggers. So if, for example, if you know that going into the grocery store when it's really busy causes you some anxiety or panic, that would be a great time to avoid that store. Maybe plan on a really early trip to the grocery store when there's not very many people, or a later trip when there's also not very many people, so a lower traffic time. There's also support groups that people can use to connect with other people that have similar issues. It gives them a great outlet to speak about their problems that they're having, or ways that they're coping, or some coping skills that they were taught that don't work. It's a great way to just have that connection with other people so they don't feel alone. Exercise is a really good prevention as well as treatment. Exercise alone actually releases endorphins that give you that good feeling, as well as reduces fatigue and helps to stabilize your mood. Sleep is really important. Making sure you're getting enough sleep at night is a great way to reduce fatigue and stress. And also learning coping skills. Finding coping skills that work for you, whether it's um, meditation or diaphragmatic breathing, where you're belly breathing. Sometimes that will help reduce stress as well and reduce anxiety. Um, there's also guided imagery, finding music that you really like that kind of takes you away from that moment where you're starting to get really anxious, or music that you find helps boost your mood. There's so many different coping skills that you can find and use to help reduce stress and anxiety. Um, and there's also hotlines that you can use if you need to use them. They're there 24/7. You can call. There's also a text line that you can text if you're not comfortable talking on the phone, where you can reach out to someone and they can kind of help identify like what's going on, what possibly may have triggered what you're going through at that time, and provide you with resources and or help if that's needed as well, to help kind of guide you in the right direction and give you that support. These are some YouTube videos I found that seem to be fairly well reviewed. One is for guided meditation for depression that kind of helps get your mind out of that dark, sad place and kind of lifts you back up. There's another one just on meditation. It's more for beginners, that kind of teaches you and guides you through meditation and how to focus. And there's another video that I put on here for you that is for diaphragmatic breathing, and it takes you step by step on how to belly breathe to reduce stress. These are the hotline numbers that I had spoke about um, in a previous slide. You have the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. This is a good one if you feel like you're on the last straw and you don't know what to do. Um, these folks are available for you 24/7 and are able to talk to you. If necessary, they can provide an ambulance or a first responder to come to your home as well. There's a Veterans Crisis Line that specializes specifically in our veterans that are having a really difficult time either coping while they're in the military or when they get out. A lot of times you'll see depression, anxiety in the veterans when they get out of the military and they don't have that connection with the other soldiers anymore. They often feel secluded and need someone to talk to. And then I also listed the crisis text line. I know a lot of people aren't very comfortable talking on the phone. This is a text line that connects you to an individual that is there to talk to you through text to help give you that support and resources that you need at that time.